So today we're starting with application level DOS. Okay. So application level DOS. Can anyone tell me what DOS is? Denial of service. Can anyone tell me? Unmute yourself and tell me, guys, what is DOS?
Sending so many
Sending
requests at the
unlimited
same time.
Who one by one?
sending multiple requests to the same server intentionally.
Okay. And what is the impact? What happens if we are doing DOS?
Service is not available for the authorized users.
For example, like if we are doing DOS in a website, right? And if you're trying to go to that website is not accessible for you, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is DOS, right? Now in Android application, we also have DOS. So what happens if we are able to crash an application, right? If we are able to crash an application, so that is application level DOS. So for example, this is an app. This is Zomato, right? Now Zomato. Now this is Zomato. What is happening? Zomato is having DOS. I am performing DOS. After performing DOS, what is happening? I'm able to crash that application. I'm able to crash Zomato. So this is DOS in Android application, right? So if you are able to crash an application in like Android OS, so that is let me admit everyone. Okay. So if you are able to crash an application, so that is application level DOS. So how to find this DOS? Finding this denial of service in Android application is very easy. So what we have to do, first of all, we need browser. Okay. So first of all, we need browser and a app. Secondly, we need an app which we want to test. So let me go. So first of all, we have to start the browser. And for starting browser, what we have to type? We have to type ADB forward then TCP, the port number was 31415. Let me check. Before this, what you have to do, you have to go to your Android device and you have to start your browser agent, right? Yeah, the port was 31415. Then one more time, TCP 31415 and press enter. Now the next command, we have to start our console, right? We have to connect. So browser console connect. Now we are having our browser console, right? So now what we have to do, let me just, okay. Initial. Now let us see the application we want to test. So let us check for this phone call application, right? So let first of all, what we need. So for performing DOS, we need a package name, application, right? So for example, in our case, we are taking the Android phone app. So we are taking phone app, right? So we need the package name. So let us see the package name also. So let us go and let us see the package phone. So this is the package name, right? So we just have to copy this package name. Now what we have to do in our browser console, we have to type this command run app, sorry, run app, okay, then package attack surface. I have told you what attack surface is. So we are using this command to see the attack surface of our application, right? And the package name. What was the package name? POM Android phone, right? Let me press enter. Now you can see we are having 26 activities exported, right? We are having 6 broadcast. We are having 2 content providers, 3 activities. Now, in able to perform this DOS, we should have activities exported. If the application is having activity exported, then only we could perform DOS. If it is not having, for example, it was 0, so we could not perform DOS. If it is like even 1, 2, 3, then we could try performing this DOS, right? So right now we are having 26 activities. Now let me admit everyone. Okay. Now what we have to do, right now we are having 26 activities exported. Why everyone is joining late? Guys, be on time. Okay, so we have to first of all, we have to see the attack surface, and in attack surface, we have to see if we are having activities exported. Okay, so right now we are having 26 activity exported. Now what we have to do? So we have to see if that activity is vulnerable. Okay, so now we have to simply use this command run app dot activity. Sorry. So first of all, we have to check the info, and for info we have to use app activity info a and the package name. This is the package name. So right now what we are doing, we are getting information of our activities. So right now after this command, what will happen? We will be getting all the information about this 26 activities. So let me press enter, and now you can see we are having all the information about this 26 activities. Now what we have to do? Now we are having the activities. Now we have to use these activities to perform DOS. Okay. Now for this, what we have to do, we have to run this command. Okay, we have to type run app activity. Okay, activity. Then we have to give this start because we want to start that specific activity. Now you could select any one activity. So let me just take the first one only. So I'm taking this activity. Okay, so I'm just taking this activity. Let me clear this. Now what you have to do, you have to type components. Okay, so you have to type components. Then you have to give the package name. So what was the package name? So let me first of all copy this. So this was the service, right? And what was the package name? This was the package name. And then after this, what we have to do, we have to give the activity name. So this was the activity, the first one. Let me take this one. Now what we have to do, before pressing enter, we have to see our this application also, right? Now press enter. Okay, so this is not working. Let us try some other activity. Okay, so you have to keep trying for your activity, right? So for example, this activity is not working. So we have to try other activity. We are having a lot of activities, right? We are having total 26 activities. So let us try one by one. So let me see this one. Okay, guys, can you see? As soon as I trigger this specific activity, this is the activity, right? As soon as I trigger this activity, what will happen? We are seeing this DOS. Okay, so let me write down the command from basics so you could just see what was happening. So first of all, for DOS, we need an application which we want to test. Okay, once we have done that, we have to start our browser. I have already told you guys the commands for browser. You could see the previous notes. Okay, so start browser. After starting your browser, what you have to do, go to your browser. Okay, browser console. And in console, what you have to do, you have to type this command, which is run app.package attack surface to see the attack surface of that application. Okay, and then the package name. So this is the first command. The second command is see the activity information. Okay, so in our case, we were getting 26 activities. So let us see the command app.activity.info a and the package name. So let me show you what we were getting after this command. So you can see after writing this command, we were getting a lot of activities, right? So when we were using this command, we were getting all the activities information. Now the next command after this, what we want to do, we have to pick any one activity. Okay, so we have to pick any one activity to test. We could select any one activity, right? After this, what you have to do, simply have to write this command run app.activity. Okay, run app.activity.start. Then we have to type components. Okay, component, sorry, not S, component, then the package name. Okay, package name, then the activity name. This is the activity name. For example, it could be where is the activity name? This is the activity name, right? And then the activity name. Am I clear, guys? So these are the commands. So you have to go to your browser and you have to type this command. Let me show you one more time what we are doing. So I'm typing this run app activity start component, then the package name and the activity, and then I am pressing enter. Now after this, you are able to see that I'm getting this pop-up. Guys, am I clear? Let me know, everyone. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this was about DOS. Now let me just go back. Now the next vulnerability is leaking code tokens. Can anyone tell me what code tokens are? Anyone?
Any event information?
Code token. Okay. Password accept cookies and tree. Okay. So, like if you have visited any application, like if you use application, everyone is using an application, right? So sometimes when you are going to an application, you have an option to sign up or log in with your social media accounts, right? For example, your Google, your Instagram, your Facebook. Have you ever seen that? If you're using an application, it is having an option to basically sign up with your Google account. If you have seen that, anyone? Yes. So what happens? This is related to that only. So leaking OAuth token. So first of all, before going to this OAuth token vulnerability, we have to understand what OAuth is, okay? Because a lot of you don't know. So it is basically, so let me write it down. It is open authorization standard used in various apps to grant access to the resources. So for example, I have already told you, for example, if you're going to an application and if you're having an option to sign up with your Google Google ID or your Facebook, so that is auth. Okay. So this is what auth is. So let me write this down also. The, having login or sign up. Okay, so let me give you one more example. We are going to Zomato. Okay, in Zomato, we are having the login page. In login page, we have an option to basically log in with our email, or we could log in with our simply Facebook or Google, right? So this is what auth is. If we are using this Google or Facebook for login, so then we are talking about auth. Simply, if we are using our login details such as your email and phone number or our password, so that is not auth. When you are using third-party services such as Facebook, Google, right? So that is auth. Am I clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now we have different version of this auth. So when I'm talking about auth, we have versions. So we have two versions of this auth. So the first one is version 1.0, and then we have the second version, which is 2.0. Now, right now, every application is using this auth version 2.0. The reason we are not using 1.0 is because it is having few vulnerabilities related to session fixation. So it is having some vulnerability related to session fixation. That is the reason we are not using this version 1.0. And right now we are using this 2.0. Now, what is the structure of this auth? We have talked about this auth. So what is auth simply? Simply when we are using this services, Google or Facebook, it is simply a token, right? Auth is a token. So what is the structure of this auth token? Structure of auth token. So first of all, what is JWT token? Anyone can tell me what is JWT token? Guys? Yeah. Can anyone explain me what JSON web tokens are? I'm waiting, guys.
So JW token having three parts. First one is header, and in header, so we define the algorithm like of hashing. For example, R256, and second one is payload. Payload having the data which we are sending, and third one is signatures.
Correct, Jaspreet. Correct. Can you repeat one more time so everyone can listen to you? Repeat.
Yes, sir. So JW token having three parts. In three parts, first one is header, second one is payload, and third one is signature. In header, we define the hashing algorithm, for example, SHA-256, and in payload, there is like a data which we are transferring using JW token. And in third one, so there is like a signatures.
Correct. Very good. Very good, Jaspreet. So when we are talking about JWT tokens, it is simply JSON Web Tokens. We have three things: header, payload, and signature, right? So, and let us move to the next thing. Vulnerabilities. What are the vulnerabilities in this oath? Oh, Anuj. Sorry, I have to. Anuj, why are you joining so late? Guys, be on time. Okay, so let us see the vulnerability related to this oath. So, leaking oath token. So where we could find this oath token. So first of all, there are multiple places where we could find this oath tokens. First is shared preferences. I will be telling you what this is. Okay, shared preferences. Okay. Then we have this Android Logcat, the tool that we have seen in previous session, Logcat. Okay, or we could simply use Pitcat. Any one tool you could use. Okay, and sometimes oath is also hard coded, where it is hard coded in parts such as your source code or in your string.xml file. Now, how we have to find this? So first of all, what you have to do in order to find this, you need an application. So in our case, we are having this application. Where is the application? Okay. Let me see if we are having that application. Great ideas. Yeah. So this is the application we'll be using. Great ideas. And this is a very famous app. Now you simply have to download it from your Play Store. Let us wait. Let me open this. Now, in order to find this oath related vulnerability, first of all, you have to use your oath, for example, your Google account, okay, or your any other account to log in, right? So as you could see, it has automatically signed me. Like basically, I have signed in this application, okay, automatically with the help of my Google account. Okay, so let me go back. And once you are here, you could see we are having two options, right? We are having the first option is with Google account, right? And second one is with your Facebook account. Or the third one is simply your username, for example, your email ID and your password. So we'll be using this first option. So in order to find this vulnerability, you have to use any one service, either Google, Facebook, okay, or even if you are having Twitter in some apps. So first of all, you have to log in with your oath. So in our case, let me log in with this Google. So after this, then we are able to find this vulnerability. So first of all, we have to log in with our oath account. Okay. So first of all, we have to log in or we have to register. Once we have done this, what we have to do, we have to go to the package. We have to go to the package working directory. So what was the package name? So in order to find that package name, what we have to do, we can come to our this data folder and we could simply find the application name. Okay. So the application is simply Great Ideas. So let's see if we are having. So Great Ideas. One minute, guys. No, actually, I'm finding a tool that I use for this. Just wait a minute. Okay. Sorry, guys, I was on mute. So what we have to do once we have done this path, okay, once we have completed this old registration, we simply have to come to this data path, and we have to get the package name. Simply you could get the package name with the help of your JDGUI, or I was trying thing. Okay, so it is not working right now. Okay, so you could like I will be getting that also, so I will be finding a solution for that. Or you could simply use the way that I have taught you in previous session. You could use your browser to find the package name, right? And you could see the manifest in that also. Now, what I'm doing right now, I know the package name, right? So the app name is GIGL. So we have to find any package name which is containing this GIGL. So we are having this com gigl.app, right? Now I just have to press enter and I'm going to this directory. Right now I'm in the working directory of this Great Ideas app. Now what I have to do, I simply have to check if it is leaking any old tokens. For example, it could be my authorization token, right? Now we have to check if this application is basically leaking the old token, right? For example, our authorization token. So what we have to do, we have to check one by one. We have a lot of folders, right? So first of all, we don't have to go to every folder. We have a specific folder for that, which is share preferences. So if you remember, I have told you for finding leaked tokens, we have share preferences. We can use logcat and pitcat. For example, when we are using this specific app, for example, when I'm going to this app and when I'm clicking on sign up option or sign in option, right? So what you could do at that specific time, you could start your logcat or pitcat tool. You remember what pitcat and logcat is, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
So you can use that tool to simply find any data such as your authorization token or anything. Okay, so you could use this. Auth hard-coded is basically that string.xml file, and share preferences. This is the main thing. So what we have to do, we have to come to this folder. Now we are having a share preferences folder. In every application, we will be having this folder, right? Now what do we have to do? We have to go to this folder. Okay, and now we have to find for a file, okay, which is having the we could say information, right? The token. Now we are having a lot of things, right? We have to check one by one. So let us start by this first one and let us type cat and the file name. Okay, so we are not able to see anything. Let us see second. For example, we were not using Facebook, so leave this Facebook. Let us try this Google one. Okay, let me type cat and this. Let us see if we are getting anything. Guys, can you see something? We are having a token, so let us see some other files also. First of all, see this file, cat file. Okay, so we are not having anything. Okay. So you have to check every file for any info type of information, right? So this is also not having. So let us try this one. Guys, can you see one thing? Now we are seeing a lot of information such as Google sign-in account, right? Let me exit from this browser. Now, if you could see, the first thing that we are having is Google sign-in account, right? Now we have to find for token. This is the token that we are getting, right? Now let's see for any other thing. This is sign-in option. No. Okay, so right now we are only getting this token, right? Now in few scenario, we'll be also getting authentication token, authorization token, right? Right now we are not getting that, but in any application you are testing, you will be getting that. You will see we are getting the email, right? We are getting the email, right? The email that we use for signing. So this is the first thing that it is leaking. Then it is the token that it is leaking. Then the sign-in account that it is leaking. In few scenario, we simply have to search for the auth token also. Right now, we are not able to find it, but yeah, in a lot of applications, we will be getting that also. So let me check one more time. Yeah. Okay, so we are not having that right now, but no problem. So this is how we could find this auth related vulnerability, right? So what we simply have to look. So after doing these steps, we simply have to look for three things. We have to look for any token. Okay, we have to look for any auth related token, right? And the last thing is we have to look for any email which is there or any ID, right? Any ID thing. So we have to check for these specific things after this auth. Clear, guys? So this is what auth token is, and this is basically a good vulnerability and easy to find. Am I clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, like for this token leakage is like a having in auth 2.1, 2.0 or 1.0, or they both having this vulnerability.
It depends. Like only right now it is the second one we are using, right?
Okay. Okay.
So every application which is in the can you mute yourself? Just a
Sure.
minute. Yeah. So every application that is using version 2 is vulnerable. Okay. Not because it is version 2, because the application is vulnerable, because the developer has missed few things. Okay. Version 1 is any application right now is not using version 1. The top applications. Okay. So this application is using version 2. The problem is not in this version. The problem is in the application, right? The one who developed that application. He made some mistakes. Okay. Am I clear, Jasprit?
Yes, sir.
So this is version 2. That the one we have seen right now, it was version 2. So this was about this what was it? Old issues. Okay. Now the next thing that we are going to see is this vulnerability. Guys have seen a lot of. I think you already know about this vulnerability, or you have seen reports of this vulnerability. Sensitive data copied to clipboard. Anyone knows about this? Guys? Okay, so what is happening in this sensitive data copied to clipboard? So sometimes when we are using an application and we are copying a text or any type of information, right? Now this could be sensitive information, it could be normal information, okay? And the severity of this vulnerability also depends on the type of information. Normally it is low, but yeah, it depends on the information. Now what we have to do, we simply have to go to an application, we have to copy, and we have to see if that specific thing that we have copied is stored. Okay, so we have to check if that is stored. Now how to find this? Finding this is very easy. So for that we need an application. So in our case I will be using this app. The app name is Insecure Bank V2. So I will be sharing this application with you guys. Okay, so let me share you. Okay, so I have shared the application in the group. You can see that. Okay. Now let us come back. Now, right now we are using this testing application. Okay, you could follow the same steps in any real application also. So what you have to do, first of all, you have to type anything. So right now I'm typing my username, anything, and I'm typing a password also. Now what I have to do, I have to copy this. Okay, so I have to copy this. So let me copy the username. Okay, I have to copy the username. And if this username is getting stored, so we have to find it out. Now how to find it? It is very easy. We need our API for that. Okay. Now let me go back. Exit. Clear. Now what we have to do, we simply have to type this command. So the command is adb cell then ps. So let me go back just a minute. adb cell ad data ls and okay, we are having this and we also will be testing this application. Okay. Okay, so let us try in this application. Let us use this Jaipur Subsidiary first of all. Okay, email. So let us leave this vulnerability right now. Okay, so I will be teaching this vulnerability when we will be having a vulnerable app. Okay, so we'll be seeing this vulnerability after that. So let us see some other vulnerability. Okay, so right now what we are going to see is this improper session handling. Okay, so we are going to see improper session handling. Can anyone explain me what improper session handling is, guys? Anyone? Guys, what is improper session handling?
Yes, sir.
Explain, anyone?
Sir, after
Once we
logging
we
out
log,
from certain website,
Guys, one by one, go one by one.
sir, after logging out from certain website,
Okay.
then we should not be able to log in after that.
Okay.
Uh, website should be asked for the valid credentials.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So when we are talking about improper session handling, so what is happening? Once a user is logged out, right? So after that, he should not be logged in. But in this scenario, what we will be seeing, for example, this is a user, Asif is a user, and he is using this Zomato app. Once he has logged out, okay, what is happening? Anyone is able to make changes in his profile, such as we are able to change his email, name, right? So this is what we will be seeing right now. So in improper session handling, for example, a user has logged out, and still if we are able to make any changes to his profile and that changes are successful, so that is improper session handling. So in order to find this vulnerability, we need two things. First of all, we need an application which is vulnerable, okay, and secondly, we need burp suite. Now, what I will be doing, I will be clicking on this sign up button. Okay, so I have to give a password. Let me see. Okay, test. Okay, sign up. Phone number 12345. Okay. Now we are into the dashboard, right? Now what we have to do, we have to go to our profile. Okay, and what we have to do, simply we have to click on edit profile and we have to turn our intercept on. and we have to make any changes, right? And we have to click on submit. Now we are having this request and we are having the full name also, right? Now you could simply send this to our repeater, and what you could do, you could turn this off. Now what we have to do, you could see right now we are having this name, right? We are having TESTA, Testa, right? Now what we have to do, simply we have to log out. We have to log out from this application. So what we have to do, we have to log out. Now, let us see if you are able to make any changes in this application, right? Now, this is the name, right? Let us change this name to something like this. And let us send this. Now, you could see, guys, we are getting 200 success, right? Your profile has been updated. So, after even logging out, we are able to make changes, right? So, this is what improper session handling is. We are able to make changes in his account, right? For example, right now we are able to change his name. For example, let us try to change his phone number. Okay, let me give 0 instead of 7. Then we send this. So yeah, it is able to change the number also, right? Now let us see. Let us go back to our app and let us see. So what was the email? For that, I have to go to my proxy history and I have to check for my email that we used. Okay. Okay, so this was the email that we used. Let me just copy this. And let me go back. Password was test, and let me log in. Now, guys, you could see, right? We are able to make changes. This was a change that we made, right? We changed the name to AA and we changed the number. Instead of 7, we have used 0, right? So this is what we are able to do. After even logging out, we are able to perform changes. We are able to make changes in the user's account. So this is what improper session handling is. Clear, everyone? So this is what we have seen right now. Now let me go back and let me okay, so this was about improper session handling. How to find it? It is very easy. I have told you guys every steps. Now let us see the next thing, which is LFI, local file inclusion. Local file inclusion. Guys, anyone explain this? What is LFI?
So the text can read like local files. Like in Linux, we can like usually attacker used to read etc password file.
Okay, so we could simply see the local files, right? So we could simply see the local files, any files which is in the local server. Anyone else? Okay, so let us try to find local file inclusion. So let me tell you, there is a difference between local file inclusion in web application and Android. So in web application, this is normally we could find LFI in web application, right? So most of the LFIs are found in web application. When we are talking about Android application, what is happening? The LFI, right? The LFI is one. If the LFI is there, it is due to content providers. Okay, if you are able to find the LFI, that is only because of content providers. So if the application, so for what we have to do, first of all, we have to see the attack surface. Okay, so in attack surface, if that application is having content providers, right? If the application is having content provider, then only we could check if that application is vulnerable or not. So first step that we have to see the attack surface. And in the attack surface, we have to see the content provider. If the application is having content provider, then we could go ahead and we could see what we have to do next, right? So first of all, we have to see if the application is having content provider. Am I clear, everyone? And to see this content provider, what we do, we simply use this attack surface, right? So we simply, first of all, we type this command. Yeah, so we type this command run app package, and then we type attack surface and then the package name, right? Package name. So let us go to our appy and let us try this command. Okay, so let me go to this adb cell cd data. Okay, this is the package name, right? We will be using Adobe Reader, so we'll be finding LFI in this Adobe. So this is the previous version which is vulnerable to LFI. This is not the latest version. This is the previous version of Adobe, which was vulnerable to LFI. Okay. So first of all, what we have to do, we have to start our browser, right? We have to start our browser. So simply we have to type this command adb forward TCP port number 31415, then TCP 31415. Let us check if this is running. Yeah, and let us press enter. ADB forward. Okay, sorry, I'm into that path. First of all, I have to exit this. Now let me try. ADB forward TCP 31415 TCP 31415. ADB, sorry, I'm using ADB forward. Okay. Now we have to connect browser console connect. Now we are having our browser console, right? Now let me just make this big. Why it is not coming? A lot of glitches with this. So what we have to do right now, we simply have to type this command run app package. So we have to see the package name, right? So we have to we have to see the attack surface. We already know the package name, right? We are already having the package name, and let us see what was the package name. This is the package name, right? Adobe Reader. Now we have to see the attack surface, so we have to type run app package info a and the package name. So we have to copy this and we have to paste it. Press enter. Attack surface. Okay. So after seeing this attack surface, we are able to see, right? We are having this content provider, right? One content provider exported. Only if we are having this content provider, then only we could exploit this. If we are not having this content provider, then we could not exploit this vulnerability, right, guys? So in order to find or to exploit this vulnerability, we need this content provider. Am I clear, everyone? So the first thing is that we should have this content provider. Only if we are having this, then we could go ahead. Okay, so this is the first step. So the first step is to find if we are having the content provider or not. So we have to check if the application is having the content provider. Okay, after finding the content provider, okay, what we have to do, we have to get information about that content provider, right? So for that, we type this command run app.provider, okay, then .info, then we type a and the package name, right? Package name. Now let us use this command. Okay, so we are using this command app package. Instead of this, let me use info and let me use a. Now this is the details. Okay, this is the details that we are getting about this specific content provider. Okay, so we are having some permissions. Okay, now what you have to do, simply we have to see, we have to find some URI. So when we are finding this LFI in our, what we could say, in our Android application, we need some types of URI. So in order to find LFI, we need URI. Okay, we need this URI. So for that, what we have to do, simply we have to type this command run app, okay, dot provider dot find URI. Then we have to give the package name. Okay, so this was the package name. Okay, now you could see we are having two different URI, right? We are having two different URI, and you could see the first URI is this one, which is content.com.android.reader.file-provider, and the second one is also content. The difference between them is that this is having a slash and this one is not having a slash, right? And the URI, the full form of URI, guys, can anyone tell me what is the full form?
Universal Resource Identifier.
Uniform Resource Identifier. Okay, so this is the full form, right? Now what we have to do, once we are having this, we have to check if these two are vulnerable or not, if these two URI are vulnerable for LFI or not. So for that we have to type this command run scanner. So we are checking if these two URI are vulnerable, right? So provider traversal, okay, traversal, then we have to type a and the package name. And you could see it is saying these are the vulnerable providers, right? We are having 2 vulnerable providers. Okay, so guys, can you see this? These are the vulnerable providers. Now what we could do? Simply, if you will go back and if you could see here only. So let me just type ADB cell and let me go here. Now we are having a lot of files, right? Now, if the application is vulnerable, we could simply read any of these files. We are having a lot of files, right? We could simply read any of these files. Now, to read the files, what you have to do, you have to type this command run app.provider. Okay, then we have to type read because we want to read the URI. Then we have to give a URI. Okay, a URI. This is the URI. So you could copy this. Before this, let me remove this URI. Okay, so you have to give URI. After this, what you have to do, you have to give any file name that you want to read. So I'm using this proc. So in this proc, we have all the CPU information, right? So in this proc folder, we have CPU information. So what I will be using, I will be seeing proc, and then I will be typing CPU info. Now, if I will press enter, this will not work. Okay, it will say it was not possible to read. Now, what we could do, we could simply what we could do, we could simply use this. So let us try now. Still we are not able to read, right? Now let us do 2 more times. Now you could see we are able to find LFI, right guys? There is a similar way we try in web application, right? If you want to see the etc.password file, we use the same thing. So this is how right now we are able to see the local file. This is the local file, right? This specific is the path proc.cpu, and this is the proc. Inside this proc, we are having cpu.info, and we are able to see the CPU information. Now let us see some other files. Okay, so let me see this other file. So instead of this proc.cpu, we could use etc.host. Okay, and let me present it. So we are able to see this file also. Let us see if we are having this folder. So etc. You could see we are having this etc, right? And in this etc, we are having host. For example, let us instead of this host, let me type sys config. Okay, so okay, there's a directory. Let me see if you are able to see this. Okay, g.proc. Okay, so guys, this is how we could find it, right? We are able to see the information such as host. Okay, there are a lot of files that you could see and you could basically you could include in your report. So this is how we are able to see a lot of things, right? We are able to see the CPU information. Now we are having a lot of files. You could try to use. We could try to basically see that files also. Okay, we are having a lot of files in this Android. You could use them. So this is how we find LFI. Finding LFI is very easy in our phones. So this is how we find LFI. So let me write down the steps. So first of all, we have to see the attack surface. After seeing the attack surface, we have to see the info about the this providers, right? Content providers. After that, what we have to do, we have to find the URI. So in order to find URI, we have to type app run app.provider. Okay, then we have to type find URI and then the package name. Okay, package name. After this, we'll be having few URIs. So to see if the URI are vulnerable, we have to type this command run scanner dot provider dot traversal. Okay, traversal. Okay, then A and the package name. Package name. So after this, we'll be having, if we are having any vulnerable, like for example, in our case, we were able to see 2 different content providers which were vulnerable, right? So let me go back and let me show you guys. Right, we were able to see this vulnerable content providers, right? So we have to find this specific vulnerable content providers. Once we have found this, we could simply read it. So once we have found this, we could read it. And how to read it? Reading it is very simple. We simply have to type this command run app.provider read to read that specific path. Then you have to use the URI, and then after that you have to give the folder name that you want to read. Okay, CPU info. Now, if this will not work, right, what you could do, you could simply use this type of things, right? You could use this traversal things. Now, this is the thing that will not work. So what you could do, you could simply use this. If it is not working for few applications, it will work in 2 times, it will work in 4 times. So it depends. You have to try, right? This is how we have to find it. So let me give the size to 28. Am I clear, guys? So this is how we find LFI. Everyone? So this is how we are finding LFI. So today we have seen DOS, how to find DOS. We have seen how to find we have seen how to find auth issues. We have seen how to find LFI. We have seen how to find improper session handling. And the last vulnerability that we are going to see is insecure cryptography related vulnerabilities. And this is very important. So we are going to see insecure cryptography storage related vulnerability. So the next thing that we are going to see is insecure cryptographic storage. So guys, can anyone tell me what cryptography is?
Ciphertext.
Before this,
Like
can
sir, storing keys.
sorry. Just a minute. Before this, can anyone tell me if you are having any
Sir,
doubts
for
about
example,
Before going to this insecure cryptography storage, can anyone tell me if you are having any doubts in LFI? No doubt.
sir, I have a one
Yeah,
doubt.
go ahead.
Like, yes, sir, like sir, in web applications, if we found a LFI, so we are able to like read servers files. But like if we found a LFI in mobile application, so like what is the impact of LFI in mobile application? Because we have
So,
our
yeah,
device,
go
and
ahead.
if it is vulnerable for LFI, so we are checking our own like phone files. So like what is the impact of in mobile
So
application
the
of
impact
LFI?
is basically any application should not allow any content providers, right? So there, right now we are not seeing the impact of LFI. The main impact that we are seeing in LFI is content provider. So any application should not allow this content provider, right? This content provider should not be accessed to use or to see any information about the device. So this content provider are always, and basically they are said to know. Not basically we have to configure this content provider in such a way that we are not able to see any information about our device. So the main vulnerability in our local file inclusion, right? I have in the beginning only I have told you. So in LFI, in Android, we simply see content provider, right? Now we are only able to see our own device, right? But the main thing is that we are able to see that specific files with the help of this content provider, right? So if you are able to see with the help of content provider what is happening, we are giving some permissions to this content provider, right? It could be exploited in any scenarios. So it could be expose some sensitive information, right? And the severity of this LFI in case of web, in web we simply give high or critical, right? But in Android we give this LFI to medium because we are only able to see the local files, right? And what this content provider is doing, it is simply giving the Android apps used to simply, the Android app could simply fetch any external data, right? For example, right now it is only able to see its own data. But this content provider, now right now we are in this intensive, we are not covering about content provider, right? But this content provider itself is a very big vulnerability. For this, we like if you have to cover this, it will take around 4 to 5 sessions because this content provider is a very big topic. So with the help of this, we could do a lot of things. We could simply see any application data, right? So this is the thing. So when we are talking about LFI in Android application, we are majorly focusing on content provider, and the content provider leads to a lot of vulnerabilities, right, guys? Just breathe. Am I clear?
Okay, sir. So like content provider is like a CDN type thing.
No, not a CDN. So basically, in that Android manifest file, I have shown you, right?
Yes,
Just
sir.
speak your you could mute yourself because I'm getting an echoing. Okay. So in this content provider, what happens if you go to your Android manifest file, right? So in that only we are having content providers. So that is not a CDN type. So it is basically a part of your Android apps. Okay. So we are having content providers. We are having a lot of things, right? Services. So we have to check that. Okay. So this is not a type of CDN. Am I clear, Jaspreet?
Yes.
Any more doubt, guys? Please let me know. So when we talk about LFI in a web application, it is different as compared to Android because in this LFI in web application, we are able to see the files of our web server, right? But in scenario or of like when we are seeing our Android application, we basically are able to see the details of our own device. But that is a thing because we are able to use the content provider. Now you could read about this content provider. There are a lot of articles and videos on Google about this, right? Misconfigured content providers, right? Misconfigured content providers. So you could see about this content providers. You will get to know a lot of things about this content provider. A very good topic, and I will suggest you guys to basically see this content provider. Okay, Jaspreet, any doubt? Let me know.
No, sir. Thanks.
Okay. So now let us go to this insecure cryptography storage. Before this, can anyone tell me what cryptography is, guys? What is cryptography?
Like, sir, simply changing any text in ciphertext.
Okay. So basically, for example, when we are using our password and our email, right? So if that password and email is saved in our web application server, so that is encrypted, right, with the help of cryptography.
Yeah.
So when we are talking about cryptography, right now we are not going to discuss about cryptography because that is a basic thing. But let me tell you, we have two types of cryptography algorithms, right? First one is hashing and the second one is encryption. In encryption, we have asymmetric and symmetric. So that is about cryptography. Now I'll be not going deep in this cryptography. Now let us go to this insecure cryptography. What this insecure cryptography is. If we are using the secure word, then this is secure cryptography storage. But if you are talking about insecure, so what is happening? Our data, our personal data, our username, email ID is simply saved in our device without any encryption. So let me explain this. So these types of vulnerabilities are basically those vulnerabilities which are arising in an application when the application is storing the user data, such as their personal data, right, without using any proper encryption standards. So they are simply storing the user data without any encryption. Simply they are saving, for example, if the user is giving this password, so the app is simply saving this password as it is. It is, sorry, as it is. It is not making any changes. It is not encrypting it with any type of encryption, right? So this is what insecure cryptography is. And simply the password or the email ID or any type of detail is simply saved in our Android device in a clear text format, right? And this type of informations are basically stored in various locations, not in a single locations, various locations. So when we are talking about insecure cryptography storage, so basically these are the issues or vulnerabilities which are in our Android apps where the app is storing the user data without the proper use of encryption standards. Okay, and the data is basically in the clear text. Clear text is basically this, right, without any encryption. Okay, so this is the reason we are talking about insecure cryptography storage, because this password or any type of details is saved as a clear text, and this type of details are basically saved in various locations, not in specific location. A lot of locations are there. So we will be seeing basically shared preferences, as we have already, I have already told you shared preferences, right? In previous vulnerability we have seen. Okay, shared preferences is one of the thing. Then we are having this what we could say, SQLite database. We could find in SQLite database sometimes our data is saved into this SQL database, shared preferences. Okay, then there is our internal storage, right? A lot of paths are there for this type of insecure cryptography. Okay, so let us see the practicals. So now what we have to do, let me exit this. Sorry. Now let us see which application we'll be using. So for this, we'll be using Diva. Okay. Now we are having the labs, right? So this is a vulnerable lab. Now we are having a lot of insecure data storage. Insecure data storage part 1, 2, 3, right? So let us try the first one, right? Now what we have to do, we have to give a username and a password, and we have to save it, right? Now this has simply saved the password. Now what we have to do, we have to type ls, and we have to go to this package. We have to find the package name of the application. After going to the after finding the package name, we have to go to this package. Okay, so right now we are into this Diva application working directory. Now we have to type ls, and first of all we have to find this cryptography storage related vulnerability in share preferences. So we have to see if this data that we have right now we have used our our username and password, is it stored without any encryption. So the first thing that we have to check, we are having a lot of folders, right? Cache, databases, or no backup, share preferences. So you have to check every single file. So you have to check every single file for this type of data leakage, right? So you have to check if any data is there without any encryption. So first of all, we have to go to the cd share preferences. Okay, so let me copy this and let me type this ls. We are having this specific XML file. So let me open this, okay? And let me see if we are having any type of information. Guys, can you see this? We're having the username and password
Yes, sir.
without any encryption, right? It is storing the username and password without any encryption. This is what we use, right? Test was the username and test was the password. So it is using without any encryption. So this is what this insecure cryptography storage is. Now we are having a lot of different locations. I have told you this type of informations are stored in various locations, and all the locations are here only. Okay, so all the locations are in this working directory only. So all the locations related to this vulnerability will be in this specific folder only. Cache, code cache, databases. So we have to check one by one. So let us check this databases, right? So the second thing that we are going to see is in databases. The first thing that we have seen is insecure cryptography storage in shared preferences. Okay. Sorry, insecure and shared preferences. So what we have to do, we simply have to go to this path and we have to check for any file. So this was the first thing. Secondly, we are going for this database, right? We are going for this database. Now what do we have to do? Let us check the second lab and this only. This is the second one, okay. Now let me type this username, password. Let me go to the third one also. Now let us check. Right now we are in the database, right? Now for checking the database, we have to use SQLite, okay? So when we are finding this cryptography issues in our Android app and we have to check the database folder, we simply have to use SQLite for finding this, right? So let us see how we could use this. So you have to go to this folder, then you have to type ls. So we are having this different types of databases, right? We are having this diva nodes.db. So let us go to this first one only, okay? And for this, let us type cd and sorry, not cd. We have to use SQLite 3, okay, to check a database file because the extension is db, right? So we have to use SQLite 3, okay, and the file name which was diva.nodes, diva.nodes.db, right? Now we are into this SQL database. Now we have to check for tables, right? We have to check for tables. We are having two different types of tables, Android metadata and nodes. So let us check in this Android metadata, right? So for that, we could simply type select star from Android metadata, right? And just come the guide. What is happening? Just a minute. Maybe we sell. Just a minute, guys. I'm checking something. So actually this is not showing. I don't know what is the problem right now. So I'm not able to find this right now. Let us move ahead. Now we are not able to right now see this databases, but yeah, if you want to see database, simply go to this folder and then you could type cd and then you could type ls. After that, for example, you want to see this, right? You could simply type SQLite 3 and then you could simply go to this specific database. And then, for example, you want to see the tables, right? You could type this table command and we are able to see the tables. If you want more command, you could simply type help and you're able to see a lot of different types of, we could say, commands, right? So right now this application is not looking, I don't know what is the problem, but yeah, I will be checking this. So this is how we can find in SQL also, right? So in our SQL database. Now let us check the second thing, right? Now in every file we have to check, right? We are having a lot of files in this data folder of this Diva application, right? So let us go back to this Diva and let us see in this files. Okay, in this files you have to check if it is leaking for any data. So this file is not having anything. Let us go back. Let us type ls and let us see if this cache is having anything. cd cache. Okay, so this is also not having anything. Let us go back. ls cd. This is a temp, right? This is a temp folder, I think. Okay, it is a file, I think. Okay, guys, can you see? This is a temp file, and in this temp file, we are able to get the username and password, right? So this is how we
Yes,
could
sir.
find it, right? So simply, if you want to find cryptography related vulnerability, you simply have to come to this folder, okay, working directory of that application, and there you could find a lot of files. In each files, you have to go and you have to find for any information related to the user which is not encrypted, right? So that is what insecure cryptography is. So today we have seen a lot of vulnerabilities. So let me check. So we have seen the DOS first of all. Then we have seen this insecure cryptography. Okay, cryptography. Okay, then we have seen this oath related issues. Okay, then we have seen LFI, we have seen session related vulnerabilities, and yeah. So today we have seen these 5 vulnerabilities: insecure cryptography, DOS. Then we have seen oath, LFI. Okay, session handling. So we have seen this. Now this was all for Android. Okay, so this was all for Android pen testing, which we were covering in our intensive. Now, guys, there are a lot of things that you could learn in Android pen testing. So this is not everything, right? There are a lot of things that you could learn. So you are right now, you are having a knowledge where you could learn more, right? So you could start learning from mediums, articles, right? You could start going to YouTube and you could start seeing videos there, right? And you are having a good knowledge right now. So after this, you could start learning more. So learning is very important. You have to learn a lot. So now next thing that we are going to see is report writing. So how to write a report. Okay. So then we'll be seeing the project also. What is the project? So in report writing, what you have to do simply, if you have find like, let me show you the report itself. So this is a vulnerability report, right? Now, first of all, what you have to do, if you are sending the report to someone, right? So you have to type the subject as a vulnerability report or responsible disclosure, right? So in my case, I have written vulnerability report. Then what you have to do, you have to give the vulnerability name. Okay, so you have to give the vulnerability name, then description, something about that vulnerability. Okay, then you have to give a steps to reproduce. Steps to reproduce is basically the steps that you have taken to find that vulnerability, right? Then you could give solutions or references. If you want, you could give mitigation also. And the last thing you want to give, which is very important, I forgot in this report, is impact. So you have to give the impact also, right? So when you're writing a report, first of all, you have to give vulnerability name. Very important, you have to give the vulnerability name. Then a description about the vulnerability, what the vulnerability is, what happens, right? Everything about this. And do not copy this from Google. Write in your own words, because that will be very good. Then you have to write the steps to reproduce. This basically means how did you find the vulnerability? Each step that you have taken, right? For example, we were finding this DOS. So each step that we have taken, we have to write it down. In case of this DOS, we were starting browser, right? So we have to write this. Then we have to write this command. So we have to write all the steps. So I will be showing you an example also. So then you have to give a vulnerability description, right? Then you have to give steps to reproduce. After steps to reproduce, you have to give impact. So this is compulsory. So these 4 steps are compulsory in each report. Now you have to mention these 4 things. Okay. And the last thing which is very important is POC, proof of concept. Basically, you could give an image. For example, right now you could see I have given a video, right? You could give a video, you could give an image. These are things that you have to see. So when you are sending a report, you have to keep in mind these 5 things. Very important 5 things. You don't have to miss anyone. Okay, now what optional things we have? We have mitigation. Now, if you want to give mitigation, that is optional. You don't, it is not compulsory, but when you are doing pen testing, it is important to give the mitigation also, right? So in pen testing, it is important to give the mitigation. In bug bounty, it is not important to give the mitigation, right? Or we could say solutions. Mitigations is simply the solutions. Let me show you one more report. Right, so this is also vulnerability, right? You could see I'm timing hello team, a brief introduction about myself. You could give, it is optional. Then I'm giving the vulnerable URL. One more thing I missed, right? Which is the vulnerable URL. The vulnerable URL. Okay, it could be vulnerable URL, it could be vulnerable app and the version of that application and on which device you are running. For example, you are testing DOS, right? So you are using Android version 6. So you have to mention the device version as well as the application version and name. So this is what you have to do in Android. So let me show you a report for Android. Okay, so right now you could see this is a report. So this is a project that I was doing. Okay, so location of the vulnerability was basically the application, right? So I was testing the application. So I was having basically the OpenVPN access. So I have given the IP. Then you have to give the vulnerability name. Okay, and even if you want, you could give the OAPS name which is given to that vulnerability. Then you have to give the proof of concept and solutions, right? So this is when you are doing pen testing. So you could see this is one more name, vulnerability, location of vulnerability, then the name of vulnerability, right? Steps to reproduce, okay, and this is the POCs, then references. So this is how we have to make a report. So let me show you one more report. So this is a report, right? You could see this is the description, this is the steps to reproduce, this is the impact, and POC is attached, right? So this is the POC. You have to give the POC also. Right now you can see it is leaking users token and WhatsApp number, right? So this is how we have to find a vulnerability. Now let me show you some more reports. For example, you are reporting this API related vulnerability, right? Insecure hard coding API key. So you have to give the name. Now severity is your option. You could give it, right? Now you have to give a description, step to reproduce, and impact. And last thing is this POC, right? So this is how we have to make our report. So things we have to mention in the report is, first of all, we have to give vulnerability name, then vulnerable parameter, okay, then description, steps to reproduce, impact, POC, mitigation, right? Now you could even give the severity level. What is the severity of that vulnerability depends. If you want, you could give this. It is optional, but yeah, it is good to give this. So this is how we give a report. Clear, guys? So I will be giving you some reports also. Okay, I will be sharing some reports also with you guys, so you could see them. For example, this is the report for DOS. Okay, I have given the name, the severity, the description, the steps to reproduce, and the POC, right? So this is how you have to give the report. Now the project. Now what you have to do in the project. So this is about the report, how you have to make a report. Now the project, very important. So what you have to do in project, simply you will be given an application. So the project will be given you by today itself before 12 a.m. Okay, so Sam will be giving the project. So there will be an app. Okay, in that application you have to find any 4 vulnerabilities. So till now I have taught you guys a lot of vulnerabilities, right? In that application you will be having more than 10 vulnerabilities. Okay, and out of that 10 vulnerabilities you have to find any 4 vulnerabilities, and all the 4 vulnerabilities I have taught you in this training. Okay, so you have to find any four vulnerability. It doesn't depend which type of vulnerability it is, right? So you have to go to this application, you have to install it, and you have to find four types of vulnerability. After finding the four types of vulnerability, what you have to do, you have to make a proper report. Report in the form of PDF. A report something like this. I will be sharing this also. So you have to make this report something like this. Okay, in a PDF format. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
So let me show you a report also. So just a minute. Okay, so this is one of the example of the report, right? So first of all, you have to make the report according to this format. I will be sending the format to you guys. Okay, so I will be sending this format. So first of all, you have to use the CyberHost logo. Then you have to type the date, okay, and your name. Okay, then you have to give this index. Okay, well, for example, you have to give the application name. It could be according to anything, right? You could use this also, or you could use any other report. It doesn't matter. So you have to complete the project. It doesn't matter how you are doing it. We will not check your mistakes, right? You will be only seeing if you have done it properly, because you are beginners, right? You are starting in this Android pen testing. So we will be not seeing that you are a professional, right? So if you are even making a report normal, that is okay, not a problem. You just have to submit a report. Okay, so you have to give the application name, notes. So you have to give an introduction, right? Now this page is not compulsory. You could simply make a simple report like this. Okay, you could simply make a report like this. First page would be your name and everything. Then this would be the second thing, right? Or you could use this also. So what you have to do? First of all, you have to give a page which is about the application health. Now you could simply give the severity also, or you could tell about different types of vulnerabilities. So you could give in categories, high, level, medium. It depends. Not compulsory. You could make like this, right? So you have to write an introduction. Then, okay, my voice is breaking, guys. Let me know. Is my voice breaking?
No,
No,
Okay.
sir.
No, sir.
no, sir.
So you have to type the introduction, then you have to type the objective. Not important. You could make the report according to my also the thing that I have told you, right? You could make the report according to this format also. Okay, this is the format. So leave this format, use this format only. So you have to make the report like this. Okay, so I'll be giving this. So you have to first of all give the location of the vulnerability, name of the vulnerability, proof of concept. Okay, all the things like this. Now, if you want, you could give in box, not compulsory to give in box. You could simply give in a normal format, for example, vulnerability name, right? The next step. Okay, not compulsory that you have to give like this only, but yeah, this is how you have to make vulnerability report. For example, you have found 4 vulnerabilities and you have to write each report like this. Okay, it should be in one PDF only. So you will be given an app. You have to find 4 vulnerabilities. Finding 4 vulnerabilities is very important. If you are not finding 4 vulnerabilities, if you are not getting 4 different reports in that PDF, you will be not getting the internship letter. So this is very important. You have to find 4 vulnerabilities. The application will be having more than 10 vulnerabilities. Okay, so you only have to find 4 vulnerabilities, and these vulnerabilities are the vulnerabilities that I have taught you. Okay, then you have to make a report, and that report should be in a PDF format. So these are the steps. I will be sharing some reports also with you guys. Clear, guys? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
So let me know if you're having any doubts. So this is the last session that I'm taking for Android. Next session, Emmy will be taking your session for interview preparations. Okay. So this was all about Android pen testing. Guys, any doubt, anything, let me know. And let me know how was the session till now. Okay. Go ahead, everyone. Any doubt?
For the
No, sir.
vulnerability report, we have to make in one PDF, na? Like 4
Ah, one
vulnerability.
PDF.
Okay, sir.
Guys, let me know if you're having any doubt. Okay, so how was the session, guys? From day 1 to day 7 or 8, how was the session? Let me know, everyone.
Amazing, sir.
It was, sir, it was like very informative and amazing, sir.
It was
Thank you.
really nice.
Okay,
We
guys.
learned lots of things.
Thank you, guys, everyone. So yeah,
Very
this
helpful.
was about the sessions. So I'm ending the session. If you have any doubt, let me know. You can reach out to me. You could simply mail me if you want, or you could simply call me on my WhatsApp number. Okay, so the one that I have used to send the link, so you could send in that only. So that is my WhatsApp number, and this is my mail. You could simply send me mail. Okay, or if you want, we could connect over LinkedIn. Okay, so I am sharing my LinkedIn ID. I'm not active on
Can
LinkedIn,
you
but
share?
if you want, you could send. I'm not active on LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn ID. Okay.
Sir, your WhatsApp number?
That the same number that is in the group.
Okay, sir.
Sir, how to submit the project?
So you will be getting a form. You have to fill that form and you have to submit there only. Okay. So Sam will be sharing the details for that. Don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, what would be the deadline to submit the project?
I think 15. Yeah, 15 August by 15. Because the internship is ending on 16, right? So you have
Yes,
to
sir.
submit by 15 August. You're having a good time, like you're having 12, 13, 14, 15, 4 days you're having, it is enough. Like each day, if you will, even if you will find one vulnerability, that is enough, right? This work you could do in even like 3 hours or 2 hours simply.